Hello students, you are welcome to your English Studies class. I am Oleide Yusuf, your regular English teacher. Our topic today is pronouns, reflexive and relative. In our class today, we will examine first reflexive pronouns and then consider relative pronouns. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to distinguish between reflexive and relative pronouns. Identify reflexive and relative pronouns in any given sentences. Use reflexive and relative pronouns correctly in the self-generated sentences. Let's get started with reflexive pronouns. So, what are reflexive pronouns? Reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are pronouns which throw the action back upon the subject of the sentence. The reflexive pronouns are singular myself, plural ourselves, singular yourself, plural yourselves, singular himself or herself or itself, plural themselves. When do we use reflexive pronouns? We use a reflexive pronoun as a direct object when the object is the same as the subject of the verb. Examples: if you look into a mirror, you will see yourself. In this sentence, yourself, which is the object of the verb see, is the same as you, the subject of the verb. He considers himself happy. In this sentence, himself, which is the object of the verb considered, is the same as he, the subject of the verb. Let's consider one more example on that. We need to prepare ourselves for the challenges ahead. Also in this sentence, ourselves, which is the object of the verb prepare, is the same as we, the subject of the verb. We use reflexive pronouns with the preposition by to show that someone did something without any help. Examples: children are expected to do their homework by themselves. I ironed the clothes by myself. To show that someone was alone, he sat by himself, away from the other students. She walked home by herself. We use reflexive pronouns to emphasize the person or thing we are referring to. James himself admitted he was to blame. We often put the reflexive pronoun at the end of the clause when we are using it for emphasis. Examples: I baked the bread myself. She mended the car herself. Now, let's not talk about relative pronouns. So, what are relative pronouns? Relative pronouns are pronouns used to introduce relative clauses. The most common relative pronouns are who, whom, whose, which, and that. The relative pronoun we use depends on what we are referring to and the type of relative clause. Relative clauses tell us more about people and things. Consider the following examples. My brother, who is an architect, has traveled to London. This is the car which Jack bought for me. Helene is the woman that caused the war between the Trojans and Greeks. We use who and whom for people, which for things, that for people or things. We are going to take a short break now and return shortly. Don't go away, stay tuned.